Good morning everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you had a lovely week and we're back with a proper video this week. First things first, I've got a kind of weird situation on because I had a new tattoo yesterday and I need to keep it like open to the air, which is why this isn't a strapless top, but I've got it strapless, but let's just ignore that for now. This week's video is the April, so the 4th installment of my New Year's resolution series, and that's where each month I pick a new thing to try. So this month I decided to try intuitive eating, or really you could probably call it, I don't know, just I stopped tracking calories and I just decided to eat as I did. Now for a lot of people that probably doesn't really sound like I'm trying anything as such, but I've been tracking my calories and macros pretty consistently for probably the last 18 months. So actually going for a whole month without doing that is quite a big change. The first question you're probably asking, or what a lot of you will be interested in, is did I put on any weight? Yes, I did. I feel like that's kind of inevitable. I was totally expecting that at the start of the month, and given how much I've eaten throughout the month, I'm not surprised. I think I'd be lying if I said I wasn't bothered at all. I am a little bit bothered by it, but I'm just constantly reminding myself that you know, it's only a little bit of weight. It doesn't really matter. I know how to lose weight. I haven't completely gone back to the beginning, and I'm trying to keep looking at things from a, you know, holistic, wide lens rather than hyper focusing in on very small things. So let me just go and get my phone. So on the 31st of March, I weighed in at 81.8 kilos, and today, which is the 2nd of May, I weighed in at 85.6 kilos.
So what should I say? 81.8, 85.6.
So that's 3.8 kilos. So let's say I put on 4 kilos. I just want to caveat that by saying I am on my period today, so that will influence my weight, and I know I can put on or easily retain about a kilo's worth of fluid, if not more. So and prior to that, I've weighed in pretty consistently at about 84 kilos. So I've put on somewhere between 2 and 4 kilos, right? Let's not split hairs. It doesn't really matter the exact numbers of what I put on, because it wasn't my goal to put on weight or to lose weight. My whole rationale behind doing it was I'd got to a point where I was really fucking sick of tracking macros, to be honest. I'd had enough of it, so I was like, well, I don't have to. So in terms of how the month went, or you know, what rules I followed, I didn't really follow any of the classic intuitive eating principles, because that just felt like adding another framework again and another like control mechanism to my eating. So the only rule I really gave myself was I just ate whatever I fancied whenever I fancied it. I didn't track calories at all based on the amount of, you know, knowledge I have from tracking calories for as long as I have. I reckon I was probably eating at least 3,000 calories a day, maybe more on some days. A nice side effect of that has been, in the last few weeks where I have been training in the gym, I've noticed how much better it is to train fueled than it is to train in a calorie deficit. So if you are somebody who is trying to focus on performance, I would say make sure you are fueling yourself properly, because how you feel in terms of your performance in the gym, that makes a massive difference. Yeah, so I didn't follow any rules as such. I did towards the end try and be more mindful when I was eating and take the approach of, you know, I'm not restricting myself of anything, but just trying to check in with how I was doing, why I was eating certain things, what I fancied, what I didn't fancy, but also trying to do things like make sure I was eating some extra protein, and because weirdly I don't know if any of you are like this, but I never fancy protein. My food preferences, and it's not even so much cravings, but I always will want carbs. That's all I ever want to eat, so I have to consciously add protein into my diet because I know I need it. I know it helps keep me fuller, and it's the same with fat. They're two things I know I feel better when I eat them, but I never sort of tend towards eating them. I've always got to make a conscious effort to do it. It's a bit like drinking water. I know I should do it, but you don't always think to. So it's just about putting yourself in that position. But so towards the last couple of weeks, I've been trying a little bit more to do that thing that I think Abby Sharp, who's a nutritionist on, is she a nutritionist? I never can remember the difference between a nutritionist and a dietitian. She's one of those people. She calls it gentle nutrition. So you're not hyper focused on the nutritional aspects of your food, but you are conscious of it, and you make conscious choices to improve the nutrition elements of your food. And I really like that approach because I am generally nutrition conscious. In terms of where I got to at the end of the month, I honestly thought my kind of approach towards food would have really balanced out towards the end of the month, and it didn't. I think if I wanted to get to a really good place with eating, it would probably take me actually closer to like 6 to 12 months to do that, where I could, eat in a way that I know satisfies my health goals, but also without that needing to be quite as strict. So, meal planning and calorie tracking and all that sort of stuff. So it's given me a real sense of appreciation for how long a process that might be if I did want to go down that road, which I think I would eventually. And if it wasn't for the fact that I was going to be spending quite a long time away from home with work in a few weeks, I would probably carry on with that and try and approach my eating habits with a bit more conscious thought, but maybe not go back to tracking straight away. But I am going away for a long period of time, and I don't want to add that like extra layer of stress on top of what's already probably going to be quite a challenging time for me professionally. So I don't want to pile too much stuff on me, so I'm just gonna not put any expectations on myself food wise or training wise while I'm away, and I'll just do the best that I can while I'm there. I definitely, the first few days definitely felt like a weight had been lifted. Then went through a kind of difficult period in the middle where I did feel like I was out of control with eating, but I just rode the wave and let it settle. And up until about a few days ago it had, but I've also had a really stressful month at work, and I am a big emotional eater, so that didn't help either. It's quite hard to separate all of those variables out. If I'd had a completely stress-free month, it probably would have gone differently. But I had a stressful month at work, so I definitely had peaks and troughs where there were days where I definitely ate within my maintenance calories, and there were days where I ate way over them. But I have really enjoyed the incorporating some of the junk foods back into my diet. I think that's my husband outside. Sorry, my husband is using the leaf blower outside, so I've probably only got about 5 seconds to finish. But yeah, just to sum up, found it really good at the beginning. I had a really rocky middle, started to feel like I was getting a grip on it towards the end. Stressful times at work, and I'm on my period, and that always throws my eating off as well. So I think all in all it went about as well as I could have hoped. And when you hear of other people who have similar histories with tracking calories and they try and switch to a more instinctive eating approach, you often hear of people saying the same thing. It takes a little bit of time to regulate your hunger signals and get back in touch with those. So I'm not surprised about how it went, but I think it was good for me. It has not completely, but it's gone a long way to resetting my kind of eating habits. I've definitely crept into some not bad habits, but there are things that I could still do to improve my eating patterns without tracking, and that is like making sure my fruit and veg consumption is up, which I actually don't normally struggle with, but making sure I'm eating enough protein and fat, which are two things I don't do naturally, so have to put a little bit more effort into. I think that's all I really wanted to say. I did struggle with some really odd feelings of feeling like I'd completely gone back to square one and had like put on all the weight that I've lost, which is obviously ridiculous, and I haven't. You know, my clothes still fit me. Like I said, I haven't really put on that much weight. It's only a few kilos, so all my clothes are still fitting me and all that sort of stuff, but it's just weird that the tricks that your brain plays on you if you're not looking out for that shit, you know. So definitely had a few wobbly periods, but actually at no point did I think, oh, I'm just gonna go back to tracking again. So yeah, it was a good break for me. I am gonna start a new challenge on Monday, so I'm gonna be trying the Blogilates Hot Girl Summer Sculpt program, whatever it is. I don't know. Every time I try and start talking again, he turns the fucking leaf blower on. Right, I'm gonna wrap the video up quickly before the leaf blower comes on again. That's all for this week. I am already a day behind on May. I don't actually know what I'm gonna do. Yeah, that literally has only just occurred to me that I should have started something else yesterday, because yesterday was the 1st of May. So I'll come up with something for that today. I hope you have a really lovely week, and I will see you soon.